One, two, three, start.
Good evening, everybody. I am Dr. Mahima Mohit Dand,
I am daughter Disha Mohit Dand.
and we both are here today to have a very interesting discussion on the case study which is put up in Cool Kids group. I think it's a very important and a very interesting topic, Disha, and a child's perspective is very important. So let us start with this case study. Prithvi is a 9-year-old child who behaves responsibly most of the time. However, with the recent onset of online learning and social distancing, her exposure to internet has considerably increased. Her mother recently saw her reading a book with the class while the class was on. On further checking the history of web pages, she realized that her daughter was watching inappropriate videos on YouTube about physical intimacy between man and woman. So this is the case study there are 4 questions to this. First, let me read the questions to you, then we will start the questions one by one again. So the first question is, what could be the reason for a responsible child exploring inappropriate stuff? Second, how long do you leave a child alone when they are watching YouTube videos? How can a parent protect children from this kind of exposure? And fourth, what is the right age to explain to children about this sensitive topic of intimacy or sex? How to do it? Okay. So now we'll go back to the first question. What could be the reason for a responsible child exploring inappropriate stuff?
Here, I think exploring sexuality, sex, is not something irresponsible or responsible. It shouldn't be considered under the spectrum of being responsible or irresponsible.
Appropriate or inappropriate, you mean to say?
No, when you say a responsible child exploring sex and sexuality, there's nothing responsible or irresponsible about exploring sex or sexuality. And if the concept of sex was not made very foreign to the kids, that is, if it was not made a very taboo kind of a topic, then I don't think the kids would consider it to be inappropriate. And if anything is appropriate, if anything is considered appropriate in the household, I don't think the kids will hide or shoo away from discussing it.
Okay, so you told they should not be made a taboo. Yeah. How do you not make it a taboo?
So if a subject is not considered inappropriate, that is, if we are very vocal about it in the household.
No, nobody is going to. How can you be vocal about it?
Not vocal about it, but when the topic comes up, you do not shush.
Okay, give an example of when a topic comes up.
Watching movies and when Bollywood actors, Hollywood actors, Korean
you mean to
actors,
say we should not switch off or change the channel?
Kissing or like scenes where intimacy exists, and when parents try to shut their kids' eye or shut the channel or switch the channel, chalo match dekhe, let's watch news or something, then we get curious because that is considered something inappropriate. So we'll be like, why is it inappropriate? Let's explore.
Okay, so from which age do you think, or do you, and you're a psychology student as well, so when do you consider, or when does this curiosity of the opposite sex, or nowadays even the same sex, arise?
I think a correction, it was not only nowadays, it existed pehle also, just that
yes,
it was not legalized or it was a very unsocietal norm.
Okay.
But I think curiosity about our sexuality and about identity comes when we are 12 or 13, when we hit puberty. Okay. Because before that, our optimum levels of physical energy are very high, and to reduce those and to bring them to the optimal level, we just run around a lot and play a lot.
So you mean to say when you're 8-9 years, your physical
playing
energy is very high.
We are running around and we don't have time to think about all these things, and we are more into making gangs and fighting with people to think about everything else. But when we are adolescents and teens, and when we hit puberty and hormonal changes occur and we grow more, our mental capacity to absorb new information, to think, our ability to form opinions on our own increases, because otherwise our ability to form opinions was dependent on our parents' opinions. If my father likes it, or if my mother likes it, or if my grandparents like it, I like it. Now we form our own opinions, and
so around the age of 11, 12, 13, And nowadays the puberty age also is,
I
on the
think that
decline. So
is because of environmental factors,
Yeah,
but
so-
that does not affect the mental capacity.
why won't it affect? Because that's when the age when when you're comparing the pubertal age, not the physical age.
We might hit our menopause or
Menopause nahi.
sorry, menarche. Sorry, menarche, or when boys start their puberty earlier. But our mental development is very different from our growth, our bodily growth. So though our body is growing, our mental capacity is still developing at the normal human pace.
Okay, so that is the thing which we have to think of. Okay, so now the next question is how long do you leave children alone when they are watching YouTube videos?
That it depends. I mean, you never left me alone. I don't watch YouTube a lot.
Yeah, you
I
don't
watch
watch-
more Netflix.
Maybe because you are now a little, mature to understand your role, your responsibility, your
And I
studies.
think,
But maybe kids who are
I
younger.
think YouTube has parental settings and YouTube has age restrictions. So YouTube won't let you access videos until you are a specific age.
Okay,
Specific
now
age.
as everyone
I
talks
think.
of, kids are very tech savvy nowadays because you have taught me most of the things. So is it, are there any systems or is it very easy to hack or, go beyond these parental systems which the kids know and the parents don't know?
Well, hacking is only for computer science kids, and I was not a computer science kid in school.
No, you will have, like we have our students in the colleges where whichever site for various good journals are all paid ones, they have different sites which are easily accessible and nobody comes to know. And
Those
they
are
get-
pirated sites.
Pirated
Like how
sites,
I
so
send you
maybe a
Netflix
parent will
movies
not
for
know, some sites, the names may be different and the kids will know it.
free.
So how much can a parent or how do you track this? Let me hear secrets from you
See,
people.
tracking it, well, number one, okay. I don't have enough time to try those sites.
Okay,
so I
it's
do
not
not
good.
know.
General, you must be discussing in schools and colleges.
We discuss more about how to pirate movies and how to watch Vampire Diaries when your parents don't give you Netflix subscriptions, and that is when we come across sites like 123 movies.
Exactly.
Go movies.
So how can you how much can parent? This is beyond the realm of parents' control. So how do we inculcate in the kids or then for them to be open to the parents?
See, I'll give you an example. Okay. Shows like Friends, How I Met Your Mother, Modern Family, all of these shows are very common because my dad also watched the show when he was maybe 20, and then I watched it when I was 16, maybe 14, 15, 16 with him, in front of him, and it was considered very normal and most teenagers watch it. But when shows like Game of Thrones or Money Heist come out, they are not normal. They are very out of the box, and
But that's my favorite.
they spike curiosity. Okay, I still haven't watched it, sorry.
Hi. Okay, anyways, continue.
So they spark curiosity. So when something is considered normal, we now tend to ignore it. Like now we say Friends is overrated, Friends is very hyped. But Money Heist was also very overrated or very hyped, but people still flocked to watch it. That happens when something is not normal.
Oh, Srishti Masi and me to have named ourselves Tokyo and Nairobi and everything.
So when something in the house is considered very normal, we'll just take it for granted and not go and explore.
So you mean
it.
to say we should not shoo it away? We should
Because
keep it as a common-
when something sparks our curiosity, we will go, we will hunt for it, and it's how do you find such sites? Is basically just type. You get YouTube links. थोड़ा और scroll करके Google page 3, page 4 पे you will get additional sites.
Okay, then how can parents protect their children from this kind of exposure? You have already told, by being open, by discussing frankly, by keeping the house environment, you mean to say a very free,
I think
for discussion,
that
open for discussion.
parenting styles play a big role.
So can you tell me the different parenting styles which are...
So in psychology, according to psychologists, there are 4 parenting styles: the authoritarian parenting style, the authoritative parenting style, the neglectful parenting style, and the indulgent parenting style. So an authoritarian parent is the one who controls every single thing about their child. Like I say you have to become a doctor, you have to become a doctor. I say you have to study biology.
I think you can talk of
4
basic
hours.
things. If I say you eat this, you should eat this only. I say you...
No, that the good parents also might say that eat spinach, so you have to eat spinach for your health, you have to eat it. That I think every parent can. But this is more about the kid won't have your own freedom at all. Like the kid says, I
See, there's a very fine line between freedom and
an authority.
So can you
that is an authoritative parent.
So can you distinguish that fine line between authoritarian and authoritative parents?
So when an authoritarian parent, it's basically giving the kid no control of their life. Like whatever the parent says, at what time the parent says, it happens. And if not, they guilt trip and emotionally exhaust the kid or slap, or which is wrong because corporal punishments are wrong. So the child ends up becoming very emotionally devoid. And when kids experience such social interactions, they think that the entire world is like this and will not want to make any more friends or any more close connections. So then they tend to close themselves off and find solace on social media and such sites.
Okay.
When it is an authoritative parent, that is, you are strict, but you know what's good for, when you know what's good for the child, but then you let the child explore on their own.
So you mean to say that I'm a good mother?
Yeah.
Thank you. Huh.
So when you let the child explore on their own, like some parents will just shut the TV when any such scene plays.
Okay, and what about the neglecting type and the what was the fourth one you mentioned?
Indulgent. Indulgent is when you give everything to the child in a silver platter, and then the child expects a lot from the other people in the world, but when they don't get that from other people in the world, they are going to be isolated, and they will again tend to find solace on social media and social media or other internet sites.
Okay. And the last question was, what is the right age to explain to children about this sensitive topic of intimacy or sex, and how to explain?
I don't know the right age. I mean, you should know at what age you taught
What
me.
age did I tell you? At what age do you think did I tell you? And it was for me, it was my dad who explained to me. So even I think parents both can play a role in
Both have to play a role. Father and mother are equally important.
So it's not a mom's forte alone in such an
it's
not in this matter, and so many other matters as well. You cannot distinguish between this is the mom's role or this is the dad's role. It can be by any parent, right?
I think it should be by both parents. It's not like the mother has to know what the kid is doing every single minute of the day, and the mother has to feed the kid and mother to clean for the kid.
Okay, and what age, or maybe like what you told, when the pubertal age, when you start understanding, and is that the
I
age?
think it should happen maybe before that, because once we start exploring on our own and we have our own opinions, and y'all, if unfortunately have a very different opinion, then there will be clash of opinions and there will be parent-child conflicts.
Okay, so before, maybe at the age of 7, 8, 9, before
I think you cannot set a fixed age like 7. When the child turns 7, you can't be like kuch kuch hota hai ka Anjali type. When the child turns 8, you thopify the find your father's old lover type letters. I think it should be a very gradual process.
Understood, yes. So that's a very important cue from this, that it should be a gradual process and not a fixed year or a fixed
it should
age.
be like so I never remember
Exactly, nor do I remember I thought, okay, when you are so old I should explain to you, when you're so young.
I don't
It just
remember
happens,
any kissing scenes being shut off or whatever. Like we used to go to the theatres and TV and we used to see people kiss, and it was very normal.
And now it's become the reversal. There are some terminologies which I don't know and I have to learn from. And I hope it is only terminologies. Okay, so that was a very interesting discussion, and I think it may be,
How to
and how do you do, exactly, that was the last question, how to teach or how to explain the intimacy and how to go about it. You can't I will take a class for you and make and sit things. So how should you explain, or
how to explain?
Or I think when a scene is just going on, casually just start it as a casual topic, and not make it as a separate topic. Oh, I'm going to teach you such a topic. I think it should just be like how we tell you one day ki banana is good for health. This, you can just mention it as a thing, and
a very normal breakfast table conversation, or lunch
or
conversation,
chai pe charcha, or anything like that. It need not be made
but
highlighted
I have
as
to say, whenever you start any conversation about sexual intimacy, begin with the importance of consent, and people should, children, adults, humans, anyone should know that their consent is important. So before teaching sexual intimacy, teach that sexual intimacy is allowed only when you've given your consent.
Yeah, then that's another whole new case study which I think, soon the admins will start. So we can have a different discussion because that's a whole lot of different topic. So for as of now, I think chai pe charcha. Yes. So thank you one and all, and I hope this small chat helps somebody somewhere by chance. Thank you.
Thank you.